couple of years ago, I partook in a project, a music therapy advocacy project, where I wanted to share a parent's perspective of music therapy. So I interviewed one of the parents of one of my clients, and it was so interesting because she really opened up my eyes to a new way of looking at what I do. And although I'd talked to her before and after every session so many times, we never got a chance to really dive deep into her perspective. And something she shared that touched me deeply was, it's great. I love what music therapists do addressing goals like motor skill development and speech and communication and behavioral and social skills and academics. But for parents, sometimes the most important thing is that you're honoring my child's spirit and you are improving their quality of life and you're lifting up their self-esteem. And hearing that just meant so much to me, and it really made me reevaluate some of what I do, and it just brought that awareness to my work. And I'd like to share that video clip of that interview with you because the way she puts it is much better than I can. So I hope you enjoy this short clip. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Rhythm Tree. My name is Ryan Judd. I'm a board-certified music therapist. And today we're going to be doing something a little bit different because this month is Music Therapy Advocacy Month. So music therapists all over the country are sharing stories about music therapy. So I would like to introduce you to Katherine. She is the mother of one of my clients and just a wonderful, fantastic, inspirational person to be around. So Katherine, thank you so much for agreeing to be interviewed today and sharing your story about music therapy. So I'm curious if you could tell us a little bit about your daughter and how you came to discover music therapy.
Well, Zoe was a perfectly healthy baby, and I enrolled her in Music Together classes from about 6 months on. And our Music Together teacher just fell in love with Zoe. And when she discovered that Zoe wasn't feeling very well throughout the summer when Zoe was between 2 and 3 years old, she connected me with you. Zoe, it was discovered, had a brain tumor. And right after her surgery, you came to our home. I had never heard of music therapists, and I knew that music therapy was for Zoe.
Nice. I remember that really well because Terry, the Music Together teacher, was getting a lot of people to volunteer and come out here and do music with Zoe because Zoe loves music. And she told me about it. I was just like, yeah, definitely. But not only am I going to do music with Zoe, I'm going to try to assess where she's at and work on a couple little therapeutic goals, but of course making it fun and motivating.
And that was quite a challenge for you because over the last year when you've been working with her, our therapeutic goals have had to change a great deal. Zoe's health has progressed sometimes and then regressed a great deal. And you've had to modify your techniques and the goals that Zoe would be able to be successful at. But one goal that has remained the same has been to nurture Zoe's soul. And that is what music therapy has done.
And that's one of the benefits. Definitely. Can you tell me a little bit about some of the other benefits you've seen from music therapy?
Well, I know that one massively destructive thing that happened when Zoe got sick was her lack of independence, her loss of independence. Zoe lost a lot of her abilities to move and to think and to speak. And in music therapy, she trusts you. She knows that you're not setting her up for failure. She knows that you'll walk her through her fears and be patient with her, and that you'll honor her ways of communicating. And I know that sometimes, just to test you, I think, Zoe will be engaging in an activity with you, and she might experience frustration or just a lack of endurance, or even just to test whether you will honor her ability to determine what she wants to do next. And sometimes she'll sort of just wilt, and she waits there, and she sometimes springs back and says, "Hi, Ryan." And I think it's a way for her to say, "I'm enjoying this. I want to be part of this. I might need you to try something different. I might need a different tempo." And she doesn't know how to say any of those things, but she just takes a little break and then re-engages. And you're patient with her. You don't force an agenda on her. You go with her rhythm. And I think that's key. And she feels validated. She feels like you really enjoy being with her. And it's very difficult for some people to be with Zoe. And I think she is insightful enough to read that. And so to have someone like you who honors her way of communicating, honors her timing, that really validates who she is.
Well, it's such a pleasure and honor to work with her. It's been an amazing journey so far, and I hope that we have many more years ahead of us of doing music together and working on therapeutic goals through music. So if you were to tell something to parents with children with special needs out there who might not know much about music therapy, what would you tell those people?
Well, one key ingredient for our daily life here at home has been Zoe's IEP. We were able to integrate social and emotional and music therapy goals into Zoe's IEP, and that made it possible for some of Zoe's music therapy sessions to be covered by the school. And I think that's really key for parents to learn. You and I worked together, and we were able to show evidence of Zoe being able to meet goals in a music therapy session, and the school honored that, and they were thrilled. They are thrilled to have you as part of the team because they see that music lowers Zoe's anxiety and gets her to engage for a longer period of time. She forgets that she's being challenged sometimes. The second thing is that many hospitals have music therapists available. When Zoe would be going through a difficult procedure or when she'd be experiencing trauma, she was often unsedated. And we were allowed to bring in a music therapist during those periods of time to help distract her from what had to get done. Also, though, it's helped the parents because even just recently we thought that her cancer had returned and we needed to have a really weighty discussion with her doctor, but we didn't want to separate Zoe from her doctor. We wanted him to see her so that he could see the manifestations of something that we were concerned might be a return of cancer. So we asked a music therapist to sit in the session with us so that Zoe wouldn't feel the gravity of that conversation and she could enjoy blowing bubbles, which is what they did. And they were singing and blowing bubbles, and it was great. So those are two logistical things I would tell parents that maybe with regard to school and hospitals. But the clientele you work with is special needs, and those parents often have a completely different set of goals for their children than maybe other parents. They also have perhaps a different timeline. I know with Zoe, we don't know how long she'll be here. So we prioritize what we want for her life probably a little differently than a parent who expects their child to outlive them. And so with Zoe, I want her moments here where she can feel honored and validated and heard and understood, and where her spirit is free to be enlivened and be engaged in her way. And that's part of what music therapy does best for Zoe.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. And,
thank you, Ryan.
Well, I'm just, again, so honored to be working with you and your family. And, it's been amazing, and thank you so much for sharing your story with all our listeners out there. I appreciate it.
It's my honor.
Thank you. All right. Thanks, everyone. Catch us next time at therhythmtree.com.